Welcome back. My name is Matt Reiners, and I'm the co-founder of Eversound, a company dedicated to improving quality of life for older adults by giving them the gift of hearing. Today, I'm joined by my friend Jolene Moore, the AVP of Resident Experience at Discovery Senior Living. I've gotten to know Jolene over the past year or so, and she truly brightens up any room that she walks into. And she's got great fashion sense, I must say, too. Jolene has an extensive background in senior living while also having some experience as a high school teacher and even a professional athlete. So thanks for joining me today, Jolene.
Well, thanks so much, Matt. It's great to be here. And gosh, with an intro like that, I hope the rest of the interview goes really well.
I love it. I love it. So Jolene, before we jump into senior living and your kind of view of that, I think the people want to know, can you tell us a little bit about your experience as a professional athlete?
Oh, gosh, Matt, that's a long story. So I'll try to shorten it up because it's been a long while. But I was just blessed with athletic talent from the beginning. I remember in elementary school, I could beat every boy, every girl running up and down the gym floor, and I loved that. And then I got into high school for track and field, and I was good from the beginning. I mean, I ended up with 5 state championships to my name. I went to Michigan State on athletic scholarship. And I will forever be blessed by that opportunity. I bleed green. I have kids that bleed green. Without that scholarship, I never would have gotten to a Big Ten school. And from there, I was able to go on to Team USA. And that was a little bit of challenge there. After college, I wanted to be a normal person. I stopped racing. I'm like, that party on Friday night looks good. You don't have to get up on Saturday to work out. But after a while, I'm like, who wants to party all night on Friday? Saturday, I want to work out. So I wanted to start competing again, and I ended up with a back injury. No idea, luck of the draw. I guess as much as I was blessed with talent, I was blessed with some other issues. But they said I'd never run again. I'd never play golf. I'd never do those things as an active person that I've always been, especially growing up in northern Michigan where I was outside all the time. And so I lived in Chicago, and I went to see all the doctors, and they said, you're not going to run. And when I tell my story, people say, what did you do? You ran, you did it anyway. And I said, no, I didn't. I was in pain. I didn't want to run anymore. But what I did see was I saw a race walking on the Olympics. It was 96 in Atlanta. And I looked at it and I thought, hey, that's no impact. If I have a back injury, race walking, you're not going to pound. So I found a coach. I worked on other, on all my core strength and everything else. And I was able to make the national team within the first year. So, I raced for Team USA all over the world. And here's the thing, people don't get to do that. People don't often get to follow their dreams. I did. I still think it's a blessing. I was able to coach once I retired from racing. But, this is the Winter Olympics. I don't do anything because I'm home watching those Olympics. I gotta know what's happening. I know what that athlete feels like and what a blessing it is to just be able to do what you want to do.
Wow, I love it. I feel like we could end the interview there, Jolene. But no, it's so cool to hear about your story. And yeah, I was first introduced to that. I think I saw your daughter post about it and shouting you out, which is just so cool, to even inspire your kids and keep that going. And, I'm curious, how do you take your experience as being a professional athlete? Because it's definitely, I think you're the first professional athlete I've talked to in senior living, and really incorporate that into your vision for the resident experience, while you've been in senior living.
Well, first of all, I believe in possibilities. I'm an optimist. I believe that if you build it, they will come. And people say, Jolene, that's a movie. I'm like, trust me, I've seen it. I believe in possibilities and challenging people up. And so often I hear, oh, you're competitive. You're just so competitive. And I'm not. I'm not competitive, but I believe in the effort and I believe in the possibility that if we provide opportunities to our residents to live their best life, to be active, and bringing in now the science of aging, we can help them live their best life. We can change their life. And that makes me excited. That makes me know that when I worked hard in my athletics, and my mantra was, no one's going to work harder than me. I literally, when I would be doing my repeats in the middle of winter in Chicago, I'm like, no one's going to work harder than me. No one's going to work harder than me. And wherever I end up, I'm going to accept that. And that's how I feel like it is in senior living. We've got to work hard, and we do, but we have to be open to possibilities and opening to doing something different and looking at it and saying, maybe if we did this, I could engage Mr. Maslow. Maybe if we did this, I could engage Mrs. Moore, and then help them live their best life. So I think it's just putting it all together and continuing to coach people up to elevate what they're doing and to bring them and show them opportunities.
Yeah, I love it. I think, when we think about senior living, right? Like there's so many more opportunities and really just trying to dream big and like do things and make it happen while you're there. And I love how you're taking that approach. And, I imagine you've seen the resident experience kind of change even over the last decade. I'm curious, like, what have you observed?
Here's how I say it, and I hope this doesn't offend people. I use it in all my presentations, and I always follow it up with, I hope it doesn't offend you, is that it's not your grandma's nursing home anymore, right? In high school, I volunteered at the nursing home and I painted nails. Awesome. We still do that. It still needs to be done. Somebody better do it for me. I'm telling you, you better paint my nails and you better put on my mask. But it's bigger than that now. It's evolved where it's people come to retirement communities and a senior living to live out their best life. They don't come to a retirement community to live the rest of their life, right? To end their life. They come to live, and it's different. It's the mantra where come on in. We're gonna provide this opportunity. We'll do bingo because I know you love bingo. But in addition to bingo, we're gonna do a walking challenge. We're gonna do total brain health. We're gonna work on connecting to one another. We have this great person coming in to do some oil painting. We have a speaker that this month's going to talk about heart health. What can you do to own your future and live your best life? This is what's happening. And simultaneously, and I don't know if the chicken or the egg, the entire wellness industry has elevated, right? When you think about what's on TV and the commercials you're seeing, it's not just young people. Our ageist advertising still isn't the best, but we're getting better as a society of providing opportunities with. I mean, there's Walgreens where this woman who's 70 plus, she's kickboxing, and then there's the Prevagen commercials, which I love. And people say, well, Jolene, they're Prevagen, they're selling them. Like, you know what they're selling to me? They're selling wellness. They're selling people being actively engaged intellectually using their brain. They're selling people walking. Everybody has some kind of walking or exercise component, and they're selling relationships where people are connecting to one another. So it's not just senior living. Society is elevating what is happening with how we can all take control of our health. And by doing that and us having ownership, we can change our lives for the better.
Love it. And, you kind of started getting into this of like where you see it being or heading towards. So how do you kind of like envision the future? If you could look in your crystal ball, like what would that look like over the next decade, or at least what are your hopes around that?
You're right. I did kind of jump the gun. My note was for this section, but it's going to continue to evolve. It's not just senior living; it's society. It's more and more science. And when I started my consulting business, 15 years ago as a wellness consultant for corporate wellness, it was new. People were like, where's your ROI? Why do you think you can change somebody's blood pressure? And I said, I can exercise you off your blood pressure medication for the most part. Not everybody, but for many people. I can exercise you and eat healthy out of type 2 diabetes. That was 15 years ago. That's easy now. I love this. There's a new type 2 diabetes medication. And even in the last 3 years, it used to be take this medication and that's all you need to control your type 2 diabetes. Now they have on TV, they're exercising, or the asthma commercials, they're exercising. There's a woman who does the marching band. And I'm thinking, now it's even more mainstream where we can impact our health. This is coming to senior living. People are going to come to senior living to live well and not just to be cared for. So it's starting to switch now where people want to live well. And before it was just care. Now it's care and wellness. I think it's going to switch. So it's wellness and what are the opportunities to engage and to interact and connect and to learn about being well, that we can have an ownership piece of that. And things like Mather, the Mather Institute just put out a study on person-centered wellness, where the model is you're going to empower each individual to find their own aspirations of wellness and their own opportunities. That's coming, right? We know the baby boomer. We know we want what we want and how we want it. Well, you know what? We need to provide that. My wellness, I'm going to walk and I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock to exercise every day. You got a new baby, might not be exercising at 5 o'clock every day, Matt. But your viewpoint of wellness might be different, but the bottom line is the same. We've got to provide opportunities for our residents to live their best life. And science tells us that with our best life, engaging in wellness, we can live better, longer, smarter.
Yeah, I love it. And I'll plead the fifth on my workout regimen right now with a new baby. It's definitely has taken a back seat. But, I think one of the other things here, Jolene, when people think about wellness and stuff and kind of the future of senior living, right? Like innovation is such the buzzword and technology. But, what role do you see technology, innovation really playing in the wellness or in the residents' experience?
Well, I love the word innovation. That's my buzzword. I want to be like CEO of, CIOs, Chief Innovation Officer. I love that. And here's the thing, technology is not going away, right? It's not going away. It's only, as we know through technology, it continues to evolve. And recently in the AARP, like 2022 technology trends, demonstrated that 72% of adults 70 plus have smartphones. They have smartphones. 64% of them use it to stay connected to one another, to family and friends, and help elevate their life. And 54% say they'd use it more if they knew how more. Those are significant numbers, right? That's not just saying, hey, I'll use my phone if I want to, or what. People are using their phones. They are using technology. And technology we've got to continue to evolve and to bring that to the resident experience, because it's not going to be optional anymore. We have got to have Wi-Fi in our common areas. We've got to have the digital signs or the community apps where people can get their hands on what's happening to sign up, to provide opportunities for connection. And I know, Eversound is a product, and I'm not just, like you said, don't necessarily endorse my product, but why wouldn't I? Right? Why wouldn't I endorse a product where I can connect to one another? Again, though, 64% of adults that are using that technology to connect to one another. If I can provide an opportunity where, come on in, you can enjoy the program better, you can connect with one another. That's where the opportunities with technology and resident experience, health and wellness, something's going to come with that. And there are so many different entrepreneurs now and technologies. And I talked to you earlier about the really great wearable. They're still very expensive, and there's still a lot of work, and they provide great AI and predictive analysis that we can use to help our residents live their best life. But a lot of it is still not quite available for everyone. We're going to start to see more and more technologies available for whether it's the middle market or the low income housing, or maybe here's a different model for luxury living, is that technologies and resident engagement with wearables and improving health analysis, with reducing falls, with monitoring hydration, which we know is a big indicator. But it's not going away. It's going to become more available and more readily usable by people like me and my teams that are at our communities that are trying to really attract new residents, have a differentiator while meeting, when I mentioned that person-centric wellness model, that's a lot of work. But with technology, I think we're going to be able to meet those needs.
I love it. Yeah, it makes so much sense. I find it just helps like scale things out, right? And just being able to do all that. And Jolene, my final and one of my favorite questions, if you could, just give other senior living providers just like 3 guiding principles as you look into the next year, what would you say?
Well, if I tell you mine, then I want you to tell me yours, because I feel like this
okay.
is all about Jolene talking. So I've got my 3 prepared, and then you have to follow up. And as I thought about it, I thought, wow, 3? Just 3? I got to have just 3 guiding principles? But here's what I decided. And it goes back to one of our first questions is, what do I bring to senior living, and why do I think I can do this job? Is to be open-minded. Open-minded to possibilities. And again, it's not your grandma's nursing home. We've got to look at senior living. It's living. It's elevating what we're doing. So, just do it. If you think about it, it's an idea, just do it. If it's far out there, you probably should do it. When you're on the entrepreneur side, you see all these people come up with best ideas. You're like, who would have thought of that? But it's working. So be open-minded. We so often get stuck and this worked. I know everybody comes to this program. They don't want to do that technology. And I shared with my groups, there are about 80 activity directors, celebrations directors across the company. We reviewed this AARP 2022 tech trends. You're like, wait a minute. There are 72% of residents 70 plus. I didn't know that. I better get my tech class on. I'm like, yeah, we need a tech class. She's like, I never knew people showed up. So be open-minded. And my second one, and we didn't talk about this, it's be innovative. The time is now. The time is now. And that's one thing that, and I've heard people say, what don't we want to go back to pre-pandemic? What are the benefits of pandemic? Innovation. We had to pivot, right? We were doing business as usual. We had to pivot. We couldn't go to classes. We didn't have enough technology. I mean, Discovery within the first week of lockdown on March 13th, we drop shipped iPads to all of our assisted livings, memory care, so they could do FaceTime. The future is now. Our residents want choice, so we've got to be innovative. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? We're going to have to meet a lot of needs, and not necessarily an expensive need, but we're going to have to meet a lot of different needs. And what can't we live without? And my third one, again, this is not endorsing you, although I endorse you, is embrace technology and wellness. Technology is not going away. Wellness is not going away. They're going to elevate together. And with everything that's happening with our new resident that's coming in, is the most tech savvy generation to date. It is the most wellness knowledge generation to date. Let's capitalize it. They're smart. Let's provide them the opportunities that they know about wellness, that they know about technology. Let's meet them where they're at.
I love it. I love it.
Here, what do you see?
Yeah, so I just made up my three on the spot here, but I would say my three. So first and foremost, I think, if you look at the wellness or the resident engagement department, that could be a serious business differentiator. I think with the right investments, the right focus, getting the right people in place for leadership, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head before. Like, this isn't your grandmother's nursing home anymore. And I think, it's such a no-brainer to me that I'm surprised, and I would think you too, where I'm surprised more people don't think about that. Like, if this is one of the departments in your community that you're investing the least amount of money in, but people are spending the most amount of time doing, it just feels like that should be flipped on its head. So that's would be first and foremost. Second, I would say communities and senior livings need to do a better job gathering the stories from their communities, the stories of the people that are living there, the stories of the staff that are working there. I've only seen maybe 2 to 3 people actually doing a good job of that. But I think as we look at the staffing crisis, I think there is a big subset of people out there that are looking for jobs with purpose, a job where they feel like they're doing something. And I feel like senior living is a perfect opportunity for those people. And a lot of them, like me, had a negative perception about senior living before coming into it. So I think there's awesome ways to kind of like showcase the stories that are happening in communities. And then 3, hey, I have to be biased and say embrace Eversound, but no, embrace technology. I think that's really the future of where senior living's going. And it really I think we've all been kind of stuck in this mentality of whatever happens between these 4 walls is what our community is. But now technology is really opening up the world to people and looking for opportunities to do that. So I just think those are 3 guiding principles that I would say as we continue to move forward here and make it happen.
Oh, I love that. I wish I would have asked you that before, because I would have used some years. I love that it's opening up the world. Absolutely. That's a key. I'm gonna remember that, Matt, and use those buzzwords, because technology does with our platforms, with the travel and all the opportunities. So I did write that down. And I also wrote down the stories, because we're kind of working on that a little bit as an initiative in 2022 for team member stories. So I love that too. So I think we're a match made in heaven.
I agree. Well, Jolene, thanks so much for joining me today. It's been an honor and a privilege.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. And I hope to see you soon.